So today was my first day back at university. I am now officially a second year. I literally got home about 5 minutes ago and waiting in my porch was this month's spooky box, so I had to just drop all of my dinner plans and come and open it now. So the theme of this month's box is the mystic, so I'm hoping there may be some kind of like fortune telling sort of things in there, maybe some magical stuff, maybe a crystal ball. I have no idea. So as we discovered last month, they've changed their boxes, so the box now has a few less bats on it. It says Spooky Box Club on the front, and then it has the same sort of bats dotted around. It does also have their address nice and big on the bottom if you were to hold it the right way around, if you were to need to send anything back to them. Now I spy a few little miniature stars coming out of my box, so obviously those have been escaping, and I can also see what looks like to be a crescent moon, so I'm already very excited by the confetti that we've got in here. So as for the sticker, it is a black sticker and it just says The Mystic, and it has lots of little stars dotted around it and a crescent moon, more stars and another moon. I definitely will be happy if there's more moon and star themed things inside here. So to open it up, inside we've of course got our cheat sheet on the top, and it looks like it's in a purple colour. And then we have our noodlies. Okay, so first off is this. We've got a large purple organza bag. By the look of it, it's a DIY, and I love my DIY projects, so I'm very excited by this. So inside the large organza bag, there are two little ones. This one says DIY moon phase garland, ready to paint, stain and customize. This is so strange because I was actually going to make one of these. This is very odd. I was looking at these the other day. I saw someone had made one on Depop, and I really wanted to make them because they basically had a line of them and they painted them as different moon phases, and I thought it was so gorgeous. And I was going to buy it, and then I thought no, I can make it myself, and I was going to like go to the works and buy some of these. So thank you, Spooky Box, for saving me some petrol, I guess. So inside there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these little wooden circles. They are all exactly the same size. They have these little metal loops at the top with a little hole drilled through them so that you can hang them. Now this one has got a few little scratches on it just from where the metal was rubbing up against it. That's absolutely fine. I'm planning to paint these with an acrylic paint, so any of the marks and things are going to completely disappear. As you can see, this one has like a little bit of a mark on it. Hang on, is this telling you where to paint it, I wonder? Oh, I'm such an idiot. So it does actually show you where to paint it. So these will be like the half moon, and then you've got the crescent moon and the waxing moon. I'm guessing the ones that I showed you at first are the full moon, since they have no lines on them. So another one of those. So that's really nice that they kind of map out where you should paint it. I did wonder if they would. We've got another full moon, although I guess potentially that one could just be completely black. I'm not too sure. And then we've got another one, I guess, for like a new moon, and then we have our two waxing like crescent moon shaped ones as well. So I'm really excited to make that. What I'll probably do, like I did with the jewelry hanger customization, I'll probably make a whole video of how I ended up painting these and show you the finished product. So they were inside this bag here, and then still inside the organza bag there's another one of these plastic bags, and inside is a chain. So there is a larger hoop on each end, and then a really long chain. As you can see, this chain is absolutely massive because it is for making a garland. What I think you need to do, since the loops on the end of these are going to be too big to like slide on, I think what you need to do is take some pliers and open it up and then just attach them actually to the chain itself. I think this is a really nice DIY. I'm very pleased with this, especially as I said I was actually going to make it myself, so I'm quite excited by that. So next up in here is this. Okay, so we have a patch, and this one says mystical on it. I do love my patches. I try to keep all of my Spooky Box Club patches on my pin jacket. However, these are iron-on ones, and although I do tend to iron them on just to get the right positioning, I do also try to sew around them, otherwise they flick off. I have unfortunately lost a couple of my Spooky Box Club patches where I ironed them on and I hadn't got round to like sewing them yet, and they just flicked off while I was wearing my jacket. As always, I'm going to iron this first and then sew it. But it is in a banner shape. It's a really nice shade of purple, very similar to the actual colour of the Spooky Box. It says mystical in capital letters, and then there's little diamond stars sort of on the tassely bit, I guess, of the banner. Usually with the banner, the sort of excess of the banner comes down on the same side, so I do really like the fact that it's kind of in this sort of S shape. So next up in here is another organza bag. Oh cute, this looks like it has some kind of chain or something in there. So it's a little black organza bag. So it seems like it's a necklace. We've got like a chain on its own, and then we have like a little pendant. Now this looks a little bit like a pendulum. I wasn't sure whether or not this was gonna like just be attached to the end of like one bit of chain, but I'm pretty sure it is a necklace since they've given us like a necklace chain. The actual like pendant itself is like in a pendulum shape. It does feel slightly cold. It doesn't feel like it's made of like plastic or metal. I'm not sure whether or not this is like onyx or a stone like similar to that, but it is completely jet black. As you can see, it is kind of like in a pointed shape. It does have various different faces to it, and then it does have a little loop attached to the top for putting the necklace through. So the necklace is your regular lobster clasp necklace. It just has one hoop, so there isn't an extension chain or anything, but you could add one if you wanted to. Now the actual necklace itself, the links are very small, so you're not going to be able to sort of choose the height of it. It will just be however long this necklace is meant to be. I'd say looking at the length of this is probably a 16 or maybe 18-inch necklace. It's definitely going to be slightly longer than your usual one. So I'm going to see if I can get the little pendant on and how it looks when it is on. Okay, so it was quite fiddly to get through, but now that it's on there, it is hanging really nicely. So I'm going to put it on and see kind of what sort of length we're talking here. Again, due to the fact that this chain has very small links, it's kind of a little bit more fiddly to actually get this necklace on. Although now I'm putting it on, I'm coming to think that maybe potentially it would have like fit over my head if I had just done this up before actually putting it on. Okay, so it is definitely a longer necklace. It is completely blending in with my dress. But I do actually quite like this length just because most of my necklaces sit around here, so it's quite nice to have a bit of variation. I can also like alter the length of my coffin necklace, so I don't mind too much that they are like the same length. So it does hang quite low. I'm just going to bring it up slightly so you can see it, but this is what it looks like while it's on the necklace. Now what I think you could probably do if you wanted to, since I feel like this is going to look really nice when it's against like a lighter colour, and the fact that all of my clothing is black, can do is get a different chain. So I'll probably swap it out for maybe like a shorter chain or a cord, just so I can wear this with more things. So I do really like the actual look of this necklace, and although I'm pinching the chain now so that it kind of hangs a bit higher, I feel like if I can get a chain this length or maybe put it on a cord, I probably get a lot more wear out of it. Saying that though, obviously you could probably attach this to anything if you wanted it as a keyring, or if you wanted to use it as a pendulum, or you could make it into an earring or anything. I am really pleased with this. It's definitely kind of different to the other jewelry pieces which they've brought out. So next up in here is the lolly, and it is in this purple and white colour. I have no idea what flavour this is, maybe like raspberries and cream. You can see it is like a predominantly white lolly. My one has a little bit of a crack here, so I feel like that bit may fall off any minute now. Again, I can't quite work out what this flavour is, but it does kind of taste very familiar. I feel like the last lolly tasted exactly the same as this. It definitely has like a very sweet, almost fruity taste to it. And I'm looking forward to coming back after dinner to finish this off. Next up in here is a pin, I feel. Ooh, oh cute. So this is in the shape of a crescent moon. There is a black moon in the background with black and green and sort of holographic glitter in it. It has some little stars dotted across the moon, and then it says psychic, which is kind of backed with like a pink glittery backing. It is quite a large pin, and for some reason the card has become static and little hollow moons and stars have got stuck to it. What I noticed straight away about this pin is that it is kind of like loose. It's sort of rocking quite a lot, and it does only have one little pin back on it. So I'm going to get my jacket now and see how well this does actually sit when it is worn as a pin. So if any of you watched my pinscription unboxing, you'll have seen I've got a couple more pins for my jacket since our last spooky box. My jacket is starting to get quite heavy now. I did actually spend some time like sorting all these pins out and getting them in order, because I am like eventually hoping to have like one side for Spooky Box Club, but alas it didn't quite work out that way, and I've ended up just with a massive mixture. Now looking at this in my little screen that I have, I see that there is like quite a big gap here, so I'm going to hopefully be able to fit this little moon pin in there. Okay, it's like the perfect fit. It fits right in that gap. So here is what it looks like on the jacket. I've put it just underneath the No Sleep from the Sweet Nightmares box. And I have to say it is still quite loose, like it does swing around a bit, but hopefully due to the fact that the little pin goes through right at the top of the crescent moon, gravity should like hopefully keep it sort of facing this way. I think it probably would sit a bit nicer if it did have a second one, because I think the bottom is gonna like flick a lot and get caught in things, especially as it is like a slightly like larger pin. I am wondering whether or not Spooky Box Club have got like a new pin manufacturer, since their pins all used to be really small, and in the last month we've got like this pin, we've got this really big ghost pin, we had this massive camper pin, this freaky nightmare fuel hand as well. They're all very kind of like large pins, and I feel like the moon like mystic pin definitely kind of goes along with that larger theme. So I think there's still a few more things. So I feel another organza bag with something kind of slightly heavy in it. So this looks like it may be a crystal ball. Maybe my predictions as a mystic were correct. So inside the black organza bag there is this, which is wrapped in bubble wrap. I do like the fact that they have been wrapping things in bubble wrap recently, just because it's ensuring everything comes intact. So this is kind of like how I expected the pendulum to look. It is on like a single chain with like a larger circular loop at the top, and then on this large circular almost like keyring loop there is this crystal ball. It is kind of in an almost like teardrop shape, and it has loads and loads of surfaces, really nicely glisten. I'm not sure exactly what this is made of. It is very cold, definitely not a plastic, so I'd say this is probably made out of glass. I do really like all the colours and things on it as the lights are like bouncing off. I'm thinking I'm probably going to use it as some kind of like decorational piece, maybe like as a sun catcher. I may hang it in the window because I feel like it will look so pretty in the morning when the sun is rising. This is definitely quite a heavy piece. I would say you could use this as a keyring, but I feel like it may be slightly inconvenient as a keyring just because of the weight of it. But the chain does seem nice and strong, and the loop at the top does seem big enough to like attach to something if you did want to. So I don't think there is much left in here. So I feel something metal, and it's in... What is this? It looks amazing. It actually looks like a keyring this time. So it is in a little purple organza bag. I always keep these little organza bags because they are perfect when I'm sending jewelry off. They're like the absolute perfect size. So inside again it has a little plastic bag, and there is the coolest keyring I've ever seen. I think I'm gonna have to attach this to my laptop bag because it is so cool. I do kind of wish that they had made this in a pin form as well, because I would be completely all over that. It's on your regular keyring chain where you pull it back and the little thingy unlocks, and then it attaches down to this amazing keyring. So it is of like a crystal ball. It is a black ball and it has little stars on it, and it has a very fancy ornate looking silver stand, and then around the crystal ball there are these skeleton hands, and I've realised what this is reminding me of. It is completely reminding me of this Mysticum lunar pin that we got a couple of pinscriptions ago, since to me that was kind of like a crystal ball, and then it has the skeleton hands around the outside. So this is very similar in the fact that it has that kind of spooky element, and then behind it the kind of backing is glittery, and it is this sort of purpley pink glitter. I'm not always the biggest fan of anything pink, but I don't mind purple, and I feel like it's not too overpowering. I still feel like overall it does give it a very kind of spooky vibe. Now it is completely plain on the back. It is just like got a silver backing, and it says Spooky Box Club at the bottom. It's quite big. I'm not sure whether or not it would go very well on a set of keys. I don't know if it would get in the way at all. I have to say I don't think we actually have had many key rings from Spooky Box Club in the past. I know that we got one in the Spooky Summer box, which has to be over a year ago now, which was in the shape of a coffin, and it had like a haunted house key, like motel key thing on it. So I don't know why they haven't added more key rings to their boxes in the past. So I think that may be everything. What is this? Okay, so I lied. There is another thing in here. So there is a little charm, and I can see straight away that this is a little Ouija board charm. I call this a Ouija board charm. It's actually a charm of a planchette, which you of course use on the Ouija board. So it's in a very classic planchette style. It does have the little hole cut out, so that's where your little letters would be. It does say Ouija on there, and when you look really close it does have some tiny little stars in the corners. It has the exact same engraving on the back as well. It is such a tiny little charm. It's on our usual little lobster class charm clipper thing. I did lose my charm bracelet and then I found it again, and then what I decided to do is just to disperse these charms all over my life. So I have them attached to my purse, attached to my keys, attached to my makeup bag, attached to pretty much everything you could think of. So I think I'm just going to find another zipper to attach these to. They are made of metal, as you can see. This one is actually quite thick and they do have a nice little weight to them. And I was originally worried about like the little linkages breaking on these, but honestly I have been putting these on my zips and pulling them about and chucking them everywhere and they've been absolutely fine. So I'm slightly less worried now to kind of take these out into the big bad world. So I do think that must be everything in the box, unless... Oh, hang on. There's like packages at the bottom of here. What is going on? Okay, so at the bottom of here there are these two like sheets. So the first one seems to be instruction. What? There's another sheet again. Right, let's start with this one, which I think is what is causing all of this static since all of the confetti has stuck to it. But this is like the DIY moon phase garland instructions. Since I have seen these before and I've been looking into how to make them, it kind of seems quite self-explanatory to me, but here it gives you sort of like a step-by-step how to do it. It says a super cute witchy project for you to enjoy on a rainy afternoon, and we're definitely getting a lot of rainy afternoons recently. Make yourself a cup of tea. Check. Settle down and get your craft on. I'm ready for that. Inside your gift bag you'll find 9 laser cut wooden discs with jump rings and a length of chain. What you need to do this is paint, paintbrushes, pliers and the kit. So it doesn't actually say what paint to use. I definitely recommend, as someone who does lots of painting and things, to use an acrylic paint on the wood, because I feel like it's going to kind of show up the best and it will also stick on there better. It says arrange your wooden discs as seen above to ensure the design is facing the right way before you begin painting. So there is the line of them just kind of set out in the moon phase. Paint the wooden discs following the engraved guidelines in the colours of your choice, allowed to dry completely before moving on to the next step. So it seems like in this picture they're just kind of painting the black and leaving the moon wood colour. I definitely am going to give mine more of a realistic moon look, probably adding a few greys and blue colours just to make it look slightly more like spooky and realistic. And last off it says connect the chain provided following the layout above. First fold the chain in half to find the centre and attach the first disc. Use a ruler to evenly space out the remaining circles. Using your pliers, open and close the jump rings. Your garland is ready to hang and enjoy. There you go. I thought you needed pliers to do this because it seemed like the only logical way to do it. Although if you don't have any pliers, I'm sure you can maybe attach them with like a little bit of cotton or some thread. However, I probably will just use their method and actually ply these on. So this is how they show it to look once it's finished. To say, I probably am going to go for a slightly different look. As I said, I want it to be a little bit more realistic and get a few more kind of textures within the moon parts. That's what that was all about. So I'm not sure what these other two things are for. So okay, so this one is a lunar calendar for 2018. I guess we are kind of getting there now. I know that we had one of these calendars for 2017, so I guess that must have been about this time last year, which is kind of scary to think of. But it's a calendar of like the moon phases, so you can find out like what's happening on what day. Top it does have the moon phases. It says 2018 lunar calendar, and then it has January to December at the top, and then all the numbers down the side, and then as you can see it just has the moon phases which go all the way down to the bottom. It is in the same size as their prints on like nice kind of thick paper. I guess what you could do is put this in a frame if you did want to kind of put this on the wall. Since it is like this size, you could punch some little holes in and put it in like a folder, or potentially like glue it into a book or something onto your diary. Think of that, I'm going to see what it's doing on my birthday. Okay, so on my birthday there is a waxing moon, just in case you cared. So the last thing in here I'm guessing is this print, and it's a very nice design. It is actually of like a palm. Now I do actually have one of these palm reedy statues, but I use it as a ring holder. Oops. But I got it from TK Maxx a while ago, but I do really like this design. Now I have to say I'm not normally a fan of like very light pastel colours, but I do like this watercolour effect. I have to say I've been looking at watercolour like tattoos recently. I do a lot of watercolour myself, and I do think it's a very pretty print. I should probably show it to you and stop crying about it. So it has the hand here. There's various different symbols and things on the hand. I have to say I don't know what all of these symbols actually mean. I may have to look them up. If any of you guys know anything about this, please do leave some comments down in the description so that everyone else can learn from you. So it says that this is the heart line, this is the headline, this is fate, and this is the lifeline. And then it says logic and will on the thumb. Behind the hand there is this snake which wraps round down to the bottom. I'm not sure of the significance of this snake, so again, if anyone knows why there is a snake circling this hand, do let me know. There's lots of various different flowers. Okay, so that is now officially everything which is in the box, other than a ton of the little purple stars which had escaped onto the front, and lots of miniature hollow crescent moons. So to look at the cheat sheet, it says that this is the Mystic box. It's box number 30. Here you have the DIY moon phase garland, the pin, the charm, the crystal ball bag charm. Oh yes, so that was the keyring, the patch crystal sun catcher. So I guess that answers the question as to what this actually is. It's a sun catcher, an onyx pendulum necklace, which is here, the lunar calendar, the mystic art print, and also a handcrafted lollipop, which I'm looking forward to devouring later. So I am pleased with this box. It's probably not my favourite box I've ever got, but I do really like the things I've got in it. I don't think I'm going to be selling much of it on. I have to add that they have just like released what their next box is, and in a couple of boxes time I'm going to be getting the stationery box, and I'm so excited because stationery is one of my favourite passions in life. So thank you for watching. I hope you're feeling super spooky in September. If you do have any questions or comments, please do leave them down below. If it's sunny where you are, I hope you're enjoying the shade, and I'll see you next time. Bye!